Okay. Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Superstock live stream for November 19th. We have back with us FansUnite, FANSFUNFF, over the counter. Scott Burton, CEO. This company's got some tremendous news recently. The stock is finally moving in the right direction towards the scale new heights. So Scott, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Good to be here.
So Scott, so what are you gonna share the presentation with us today?
Yeah, I think we said we'd kind of go through that one more time. We've obviously in the last couple of weeks, I think we've added a lot of new people as shareholders. So I think we'll do the slides one more time of the sort of old ones. I've added a couple of things, and then next week I think we'll probably go back to Q&A, and then the next time we do a presentation will be an updated one. So yeah, I'm happy to jump right in to this.
Let's pop it on the screen, and then maybe we will see some demos. You know, people always like that.
Yeah, just let me know when you can see it. Okay, Jack.
Okay, hang on a second. We got okay. I see the screen. There we go.
Great. Yeah, so thanks everyone who's here and those who may watch later. As Jack mentioned, we're FansUnite. So we are an online gambling technology company. We operate globally. We really focus on the core technology behind powering betting brands, our own and then other people's. So FansUnite is now a merged company as of August 11th. So it was bringing together a couple of companies, FansUnite being the original public company, and Ascot Entertainment. So I'll speak a bit on both companies and what they brought to the merge, but just talk about the industry and space and why I think we're on Jack's show and what we have ahead. We're in the online gambling space, so it's a massive market, well over $150 billion now, growing 8 to 10% a year. The changes in the U.S., changes coming to Canada, that's just exponentially growing year over year. So we're at a great time in the market, especially with the shift to more and more people looking at online solutions and brick and mortar casinos kind of struggling with the pandemic. The major inflection points, so we have a number of parts of the business that are all really turned on and moving into sort of high gear at the moment. So multiple revenue streams, all generating revenue and all poised for, I think, significant growth. We're talking not the single digit type percentages, but in the triple numbers. And that's not just short term, that's for the years ahead. And then many catalysts will be announcing that just shows you how we're going to hit that growth in revenues. So a quick look at the structure. As I mentioned, FansUnite is the parent company. Merged the two companies below, which was FansUnite, which was really more focused on the traditional sports betting market. So football, basketball, baseball, soccer. Ascot Entertainment was a company that was more in the esports space, so the massive and fast-growing space of online video games. Ascot Entertainment also was in the technology building for online gambling, but building out products for esports betting, esports daily fantasy, and now casino-style games. And then McBookie is a direct-to-consumer site that's got a UK focus, so it's really a Scottish market gambling site. Does extremely good volume, growing very fast, and that's a site that FansUnite acquired earlier 2020. And then underneath, you'll just see some of the brands that as a joint company that we operate. I'll speak a bit about those down the line. Jack, here's something I just added from previous presentations, because August 11th was when FansUnite and Ascot merged. So that was a massive deal for both companies, transformational deal that people look for. We did a financing, so we closed an oversubscribed $5 million financing at that time. That was to give us plenty of runway. September, we announced a pretty major partnership to enter the U.S. market. So we've been more focused globally, so outside of North America. A lot of challenges were in the U.S. space. They repealed the betting laws a couple of years ago. we were looking for a good way to enter. We made a partnership with Gameco. Gameco has licenses throughout the US. So it gives us good license coverage. They also have great relationships with many of the casinos, tribal groups. And so that's going to be our entry point into the US. And we look to announce a deal on our first installation soon. In October, we moved on to announce a Pinnacle Partnership. So Pinnacle is one of the leaders in sports betting and especially esports betting. So we now are the only reseller of Pinnacle's esports data on our technical platform called Chameleon. I'll explain what Chameleon is in a couple of slides. We're building our own casino-style games, and we announced our first casino aggregator deal. So we are pushing our games out to casino aggregators who then distribute them around the world. The first deal with the ear can see our games go into 120 different online casinos and sports books. So there's another point of massive exponential growth. That's just one aggregator. And then McBookie, our consumer-facing UK site, it's been around 10 years, had its biggest month in history. Year-over-year revenue for October was up over 400%. We had a major gross win, a number of 602,000, which was the biggest ever. And then just earlier, I think maybe a week ago, or actually it could have been Monday, we announced we moved up to the OTC QB. So I know you saw we had a massive volume day on Monday off of that announcement. So this is just talking about the execution and how powerful the merging of these two companies has been and how fast we're now able to move as a combined entity. So really was that 1 + 1 = 3 combination, I think, between Fans and Ascot. Some highlights of the group, we have 4 direct-to-consumer products that are live in the market now. So you'll see some companies just focused, they have 1 brand out and doing well. We have 4, and with us owning the technology backbone, we have the ability to launch our own direct-to-consumer brands very quickly. We've done over $350 million in betting volume between the entities. On the B2B side, so licensing Chameleon, we've got 4 deals live, 2 of those platform sites are live. 4 deals signed and 2 of those sites are live. Combined, we have well over 300,000 registered users in the network. Our first 2 major partnerships have been announced, and we have, I think, more to come there. So we'll go through the offerings. We'll start with the B2B. So these are the business to business, and then we'll talk about a couple of the B2C companies we have. So Chameleon is the one I mentioned, and this is, again, the technology backbone now of the whole company. So this can power anybody's betting brand, and that can be sports betting, it can be esports betting, it can be casino, or it can be all of those. We really started Chameleon as an esports platform, so it's very focused on sort of the millennials, people that are looking for highly engaging products, not the traditional sports betting that you would expect typically. So I don't think we've shown this for a while, Jack, but just to give people a sense of, our vision for esports betting and how we show it. This is a demo of the Chameleon site. So this is our demonstration. This is what we would license out to partners if they want a full betting brand. So we do everything that includes hosting. We can do the gambling licenses for them. We can do all of the payment processing management. We can do the KYC, which is the age, identity, location verification. We've been certified and tested in multiple jurisdictions around the world. And then everything they have on our platform is really a feature they can turn on and off. So if they want daily fantasy, they can have it. If they choose not to, they don't have to. It localizes very well, so we can change language, change the look and feel. But really, stream betting is what I think we were known for bringing out for esports betting. And for people who don't know, streaming is where you watch other people play video games, either casually or professionally. So Twitch would be the site that most people would know if you're going to go watch other people play video games. So here what we do is we can embed streams from any game. You're looking at an example of Fortnite here. But really what we're trying to do is keep people on site. So time on site, no reason to exit, and then lots of activity. So this is around betting. On the right-hand side, you'll see what people would, I guess, call maybe proposition-style bets, but these are bets that can pop up throughout the entire match. So this could go for an hour. Every 20 to 30 seconds on the right, we'll be popping in bets. You can place your bet really quickly, confirm. And the nice thing about these is these are all going to settle, some within the next 2 to 5 minutes, some for the entire match, but it's really engaging. So at any time you can go check your bets, you can see what you bet, and these are just settling. So you can just be placing hundreds of bets during a competitive video game match. So this is kind of the engagement we believe, especially the esports fans and the younger demographic are looking for, as opposed to, you know, placing a bet on a Wednesday for a Sunday afternoon football game and then coming back and checking Sunday. We want people to do all their activities around betting, casino, everything just from our platform. So going back to the presentation, that's the Chameleon platform. I guess I should mention just a couple of things around that. So that's where we said we've got 4 deals signed. 2 sites are live running the Chameleon on the B2B front. All of our own direct-to-consumer will be running on that platform, other than McBookie at this time, which we may switch. The revenue model here is nice because it is, we get an upfront integration fee from the partners. We get a minimum monthly license fee, so we get a monthly recurring revenue that's guaranteed. Our typical deals, we aim for 36 months to start. There's fairly high switching costs once you're embedded with a gambling platform, and payments and hosting and licensing. And then the exponential side that we're looking for is the blue sky of revenue share. So as they grow, we take a percentage of revenue. So every site we have, we get the guaranteed minimum, but that's really not where we're looking for the big numbers. It's when those sites turn into, you know, hundreds of $1 million betting brands, and we're taking a percentage of the revenue as they grow. So that's the Chameleon model. Ascot Games is a new part of the business we announced a few weeks ago, I think on Wall Street Reporter as well. So Ascot Games is the division of our company that's building out our own casino style, or what we call RNG games. So they're built on top of a random number generator system. We have our own certified random number generator that allows us to build endless games on top of that. So if you think of any online casino game you look at, which could be poker, it could be blackjack, could be roulette, they're all sitting on top of an RNG. Where we saw the gap in the market right now, and it sort of comes off the back of our move to esports back in 2014, was there's a wave of gamers coming at us. There's this younger demographic that does not watch baseball, that does not watch basketball, that isn't interested in spinning fruit wheel machines online. So we are trying to get them into these gaming sites, but then we want them to stay, and then we want to generate more dollars per user, and that's where casino comes in. So in a traditional sports book, you're really pushing to move people into casino as well, because that's where you're going to really make more money. So we wanted games that would appeal to that type of user. So we're focused on video game look and feel, video game themes, but more importantly, there's a bit of sense of control on the games as well. So we're trying to make them less passive, just pushing a button and watching, but having the user engage with the game and keep them coming back. So this is a new offering. You can go to our new site called ascot.games and check out more of the games. We've got 2 complete. The 3rd's almost done. The 4th is on the way. We aim to have 10 of these out next year. And these are the ones where we're signing them into aggregators. So we get massive distribution, saves us the time and effort of doing single deals. We do a deal with one aggregator like the Ear, and it opens up 120 online sports books and casinos. So a big piece of the business in 2021 is going to be completing a suite of up to 10 games and getting them into multiple aggregators. That puts us in front of millions of users, end users. So on the B2C side, so this is the direct-to-consumer sites that we currently power or partner with local people in market to power. So McBookie, as I mentioned, is our biggest revenue generator. As I mentioned, the massive growth. It's been around 10 years. It's a great brand in the UK. FansUnite was the sportsbook side of FansUnite. So it was a social sportsbook to start. Built up a pretty good user base, and now we're looking at turning that into more of an affiliate model in the US, so we can drive traffic to real money gambling sites. Esports bets and esports pools were the esports brands that Ascot had initially. They've gathered over 200,000 registered users in 190 countries on the esports side. And then Vamos GG is the latest brand that's come up on the Chameleon platform. And this is an example of how we can localize and go into markets quite quickly. This site is focused on the Latin American area, primarily Brazil. So it's in Brazilian Portuguese. By doing this and having the technology and being able to launch brands, we can go into regions that are maybe underserved, especially if you want to do something like focus on esports. We can really focus on the payment methods that are good for that region. Payments is always the most challenging part of running an online gambling site. Biggest friction point, biggest drop off if you don't have local payment methods. So we can focus payments, focus marketing, saves us a lot on the customer acquisition costs, but allows us to really do that. So that's the power of having the Chameleon platform behind us, is we can look to these regions and launch brands pretty quickly. So I'm going to jump through because we don't have a ton of time, but this is the FansUnite Sportsbook look and feel. So we'll be powering this from the Chameleon platform. And that was one of the things that we looked for when we merged was Ascot was really a leader in the esports industry, launching their first esports product back in 2014. Their platform was recently nominated or shortlisted for Esports Platform of the Year award. So FansUnite, as they were looking at their growth plans, you can't ignore esports anymore if you're a sports book. So they were looking for that. And Ascot, as we were moving forward, because I founded Ascot, for our next steps, we were looking to bring some traditional sports into the platform. So by having the FansUnite Sportsbook and having the McBookie, which was the massive revenue stream for us, the combination just made for a powerful company as we've got now. Here's what Vamos GG looks like, similar to what you saw with the Chameleon. This one is up now, and the marketing really starts next week on this site. So licensing is a big part of what we do. It's what we can offer to people, and I think it goes to show the infrastructure that we've built out for a company of our size, and our experience in navigating a difficult space when it comes to regulation. And we've always embraced it, and that's how we started out as a highly regulated company. There are operators who go the other way. We knew regulation is not going away. There's just going to be more of it. So we wanted to position ourselves to work within that environment. And so we've been through some of the strictest and toughest jurisdictions out there. So going back to 2013, our first license was in the Isle of Man. In 2017, we were the first esports betting company with Ascot to be licensed in the Isle of Man. We were the first crypto betting company to get a license there as well. 2018, we actually chose to move from the Isle of Man. Through a partnership we have in Curacao, we can offer sub-licenses to any partners in Curacao. We have been completing the process in Malta. So with the Malta Gaming Authority, which is the oldest jurisdiction in the EU, so Europe, we wanted basically access to the wider European market. So we're completing 2 licenses there now. One is a critical software supply license. That allows us to sell our software to any other Malta licensed operator in the EU. So opens up tons of opportunities on the business to business side for us. And then we're also going to have a direct to consumer license, which will then allow our partners who want to run a betting brand in Europe but don't want to go through the licensing process. We can white label to them, so we can give them license coverage, payment, banking, all of that. In the process now of getting the what's considered the gold standard of licensing, which would be the UKGC, the United Kingdom Gambling Commission. So we began that process looking for a Q1 licensing in the UK, which then opens up the UK market. And then the US is one that we weren't initially really looking at right away. But with this Gameco partnership that I mentioned earlier, we now have access to the US in a number of states where we have license coverage through Gameco and partnerships and some business development. So we'll be making a move into the US sort of much quicker than we thought. Obviously, people know that's a massive market, and it's just at the first stages of opening up with the repeal of PASPA. I think we're up to 26 states now that are going to allow sports betting. That's going to get close to 50, if not 50, in the coming years. So huge opportunity in the U.S. and one that I didn't have here because it's kind of developing as we speak. But we're a Canadian-based company, and Canada has been a government monopoly on gambling for forever. Ontario is the biggest province here and just announced that they're looking to open up to outside operators. And I believe there's going to probably be some preference given to operators who have operated in places like Malta in the UK. So I think we're sitting sort of at the precipice, I'm not sure if it's where it's going to land because there's a lot of government involvement, but I think, in the coming months, we'll see a lot of very positive developments on Canada opening up. And I think we're well positioned being here in Canada, but also have gone through some of the toughest regulators in the globe. So stay tuned for Canada news. Really, we've got a great team, especially with the merge. We've got teams spread out sort of around the world now. Brought together a very solid board. So Darius and myself, Darius was the founder of FansUnite. I founded Ascot. We're on the board, but we really wanted to bring some powerful industry people that could help us in the key areas we're looking at, and we identified the three we have. So Harish worked for the biggest betting gaming company in the world called Paddy Power Betfair. They now go under the name of Flutter. He was the president of their Asia operations, very much involved in the M&A. So we see M&A as part of our path forward. We also see Asia as a massive market. Harish is based there, so he's really the door opener we needed there. The U.S. is an area we wanted some more expertise in, and I think Chris Grove is recognized as one of the leading experts in the online gambling space in the U.S. He's a partner at Eilers Krychek Gaming, which is one of the major research people in the space. So for our U.S. strategy, Chris is key. And then as we develop the Ascot game side, this is the casino-style games. James Keane is not just a pioneer in gaming because he was in the early days of online poker. He was on the founding team of Paradise Poker. But he's CEO of a social casino games company that's been building games for, I think, 20 years now. So those were real three areas we were looking to get some help, and I think we nailed it with the board we were able to put together. So coming back to the start where we just talked about the opportunity, massive opportunity, and we're well positioned because we're not really building anymore. We're always improving. We're always adding some things, but we have the infrastructure, we have the team, we have licensing, so we're generating revenue. So we're ready to go in this massive space. Mentioned the inflection point. I think we're just starting to see it, as you've noticed from the last couple of weeks. But I think people are starting to realize the company that's behind the stock and the people and the infrastructure. And now we're really starting to kind of hit our stride and go. So nothing but significant growth ahead of us in terms of B2C, more licenses, the US. The catalysts, we have many of those coming, so we'll be announcing our new licenses as we get them. Looking to announce our first US partner. So Gameco is really our partner in reselling into the US. So we'll be announcing our first partner to take the Chameleon platform, full suite of RNG games next year. And then we are looking at some strategic opportunities that would grow revenue for us or improve the technology backbone we currently have. So those are the three real major things we have going. And just to touch back again on execution, because I think it's important for anybody looking. I think you need to look at the team. I think you need to look at the space, and then I think you need to look at their track record. And just I'm not going to run through them all again because people can watch later. But these are the things, in the weeks that we've been a combined entity we've gotten through. I don't think we've announced our biggest news yet, so that's still to come for us in the coming weeks and months. And then you can just follow revenue. So I think again, it's nice as an investor where you can get in at the beginning stages of a revenue ramp. So always be contacted anytime. I know Jack get a hold of us. We have some great conversations, so happy to chat to anybody. Three people to contact there: myself, Darius, and Prit. So I'll stop sharing and jump out of the presentation.
Okay, Scott, I know you got about 8 minutes here. Hopefully.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit tighter today.
Okay, so we're gonna probably get you next week. We'll have an extended Q&A. Let's see if we can get a few questions. Okay. How do you plan to promote the Chameleon platform? Get more people.
Yep. So it's been great so far. We we have a very good pipeline of deals in front of us, and we've signed 4, and we've yet to actually done any business development. That's all been inbound. So through our network that we have, through our board, through being nominated for a few awards for the platform, we are well known, and people are coming to us, especially when they're looking for esports. But what we're moving towards is we will be adding more on a business development team. So we're putting a team together that's going to actively go out and push the platform. In the gambling space, in the past, conferences were huge. Actually sitting, with a booth and sitting there and networking. That's changing a bit with the situation we're in, but we'll be doing, as soon as we can, we'll be doing a lot of that. We are also going to be, myself, writing some regular pieces now in Gambling Insider magazine. That'll be bi-monthly piece I'll be putting out, and a few other things. So so everything's been inbound to date, and we have kind of more than we can handle in terms of inbound requests at the moment. So we're scaling up on the dev side, and then we will be actively outbound marketing with more of a business development team beginning of the year.
I think one of the big things right now, the sports betting is getting a lot of headlines. I think we've talked about it before. We've had one of the big ETF gurus on there saying that all these guys are going to have to make money on the casino games because the sports betting, the margins are just going to become commodity margins. So they're going to need essentially your games. The demand for the games is going to increase.
Yeah, exactly. And so the games is really
for the younger demographic.
Yeah, the games, and that's the thing. Like if you can have casino games, but if they're not appealing to the people that are trying to come to the site. So you look at DraftKings is, I think, a good example. DraftKings is making a ton of news in the US, big valuation, but their average user, I think, is around 27. So you got to start putting products out now that are getting the 27-year-old, the 18 to 27-year-old to move to your casino, and that's where people are struggling, and that's why we've had so much interest in the game side, because now we're developing those things that will bring people over there. And you also look at what Penn Gaming did and doing the deal with Barstool. Everybody knows, like, you got to attract the 18 to 30-year-olds nowadays. The 50-year plus sports bettors are in decline. The fan base for traditional sports is in decline, and the users of traditional casino games is in decline. So that's we're building for the next generation.
Yeah. So basically, so essentially the demographics, everything, the tailwinds are in the favor of fans. Everything seems to be working here. Very interesting. Okay, so what are you going to have more games rolled out? When are you going to have more stuff out there? Because and maybe just walk us through kind of that revenue model. Like each aggregator brings in X amount of casinos. Each game makes X amount of dollars.
Yeah. So we did a deal with Ears, the first one, and the first step of that is actually we're putting their aggregator onto our site, the Chameleon platform. So that will allow our anybody on Chameleon to open up really thousands of games. So giving our B2B partners ways to make more revenue right away was the first step. Integrating back into the Ears next, which we'll be doing in the next few weeks. Then we intend, like I said, our third game is close to done. Our fourth one is in development, and then we'll speed those up. But we'll have 10 out, end of next year, even earlier possibly. And then with an aggregator, so getting us into one, which the Ear is, and it's not even a massive aggregator. It's a good European one, but on the smaller side, that opens up 120 sportsbooks casinos. You got millions of eyeballs just on that one aggregator, so you can go from there. We want to be in 5, 6, 7 different aggregators. So millions and millions and millions of users. We do a revenue share on every time a game's played. A good game for us can bring in, well in the 6 figures, maybe 7 figures a month if you have a hit game.
And that's all basically profit.
Yeah, for us, it's a big amount of profit. So, like I said, we just really build the game once, and then you can get it into thousands of sports books or casinos.
Yeah, it's like I guess what they used to say about the movie business. You make it once, and It's forever. It doesn't cost you any money.
Highly scalable, and you know, our cost to produce is very reasonable. So the upside on those games is massive. It's very little. You know, I think one site, you know, we can recoup the cost of development for most of our games probably, but then any of those games hit, and yeah, it's a huge win for our company.
Scott, could you outsource game? The guy's asking. It's an interesting question, huh?
So there's definitely components that we do outsource now. The names mentioned are probably ones we wouldn't, just on a pure cost basis. But so we like to own the IP. So currently, all concepts, all storyboarding, all of that is done in-house, and then we have aspects of those games that we do outsource. So it can be anything from sound. So the sounds, some of the graphics, some of the animation stuff. We have very good partners that we do outsource that. There may be a time as we scale, we like to, you know, we do sort of walk before we run on some of these. So in terms of, you know, adding massive fixed cost overhead right away, we wait to see some good traction, and then we'll build out an internal team. But currently we have everything we need in-house to do all of the design, you know, the concepts. So I'm talking about 10 next year. We've got 20 at least in storyboard and concepted out. So we're no issues there.
Pipeline of games.
Yeah. I mean, we're at no loss for I think awesome game concepts that that the market, I think, is going to receive very well.
Okay, Scott. Okay, so I think you got to get out of here right in the next minute or so. So on that note, I want to thank you. We'll catch up with you hopefully next week. Hope we'll have some more big news. Thank you everybody for joining the live stream, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Scott.